Welcome, everybody. Thank you for popping in already. Just doing a quick mic check. How'd I sound out there? Thank you for popping in, of course. Like I said, we'll be live here shortly. Let me know if I sound all right, if you could. Welcome, everybody, to another edition of B&B Quickie. Now, it's Thursday, so it's my day off. Typically, it's a nice day that I can do these B&B Quickies. I gotta tell you, pretty excited about this one overall. There is no prize giving out tonight. Stop claiming stuff, Draston. I've had an interesting day off. Had to fast for a good portion of the evening into this morning so I could get some blood work done for my doctor appointment yesterday, next week. Yesterday, that'd be pretty funny. So it's been a pretty chill day for the most part, but I was definitely starving by the time I got my lunch, which I finally got a box of sushi today, and I am comfortably relaxed, and I had some therapy, as I like to call it, eating sushi. So I'm chill, but I'm really excited to get into this this topic with some wrestling. I always like talking wrestling. You know, again, everybody always gives us good ideas for content for the show that they want us to talk about. Wrestling comes up very often, so I want to make sure that I get this in when we can. Sometimes it's hard to put into the middle of the actual proper show, but at the very least, with the B&B Quickies, I have that ability to, pop in here and talk about some wrestling all across the board, whether it's a retro match, retro wrestlers, or even current stuff as well too, especially if we're talking about our friend Rohit Raju. So what's happening out there, everybody? How are we doing today? Draston's, drowning himself in his pool earlier, being a complete jerk about pool time and drinking beers. Like I said, I've been, enjoying most of my day off, I guess, for the most part. You are. We know. But I'm gonna wait a few more minutes. I know there's a few more people that are gonna pop in that want to see this, so just chit chat for a hot second. I don't know if he's here yet. If he is, he's lurking. I know he's making some dinner, but this actual idea today was actually kind of started the brainchild of King Cuddles. He's been sending me these really neat ideas of choose and pick and choose, and we've kind of run with it for banter and babble as well too. But today this was the first one he sent me, and this was probably the one we might have talked about, I think, overall the most, because this is a pretty tough one, I think, for sure. So I was actually just giving you props, King, because I said this is kind of your brainchild. So make sure to give you guys both, the Draston and King, if you guys are out there hanging out, follow both these guys here on Twitch. They're both good friends of mine. I've known Drassen for 20 years. They both stream here and do a lot of great content as well too. So they're definitely some of my pillars these days. So we appreciate their support constantly. So, are you eating right now too as well, King? Or are you getting into that chicken? I know you're making that yum yum. That was looking pretty tasty. I got to be honest. Pretty tasty. Awesome. Good for you. Good for you. Probably not as good as my sushi today, but I'm sure it's pretty tasty regardless. And that's important, man. Good for you. Good for you. Chicken does sound good, though, I'll be honest. Just got here, please start over. God damn it, Captain Ocean. You guys are a bunch of wieners. All right, so getting right into it, I suppose. So as most of you clearly know from anything, either show or honestly even Twitter, if you follow me on Twitter, I talk pretty heavily and extensively about wrestling on Twitter because I definitely do think that the big things I deal with on Twitter is mostly streaming and streamers, but also wrestling has such a big presence in Twitter and social media anyways, and that's a tribute to WWE years ago really being pioneers in some sense and having that clairvoyance to really get into the Twitter world and trending and doing all the hashtags and all this stuff early as 2010. And I think that really kind of created for everybody in wrestling really this dynamic of making sure everybody's kind of connected to everybody. I've had some really interesting connections with wrestlers liking my tweets, retweeting, or replying. Kevin Nash was one of the most recent. Cody Rhodes is like 2 or 3 of my tweets. Dustin has as well too. Brian Cage typically likes some of my comments and tweets, and even Taz has commented back once, and so that's pretty cool. I love wrestling and love wrestlers, so it's pretty dope to have that kind of interaction. It's a really hard spot to filter through and be able to get through to people because there's so many replying. So if you can reply at a good time, or if it's good enough, maybe they'll give you some props, but pretty dope either way. And of course Rohit Raju likes all my texts because he's definitely my biggest fan, I would say. So but yes, I've been a fan of wrestling since all the name drops, that's right, all that clout, son, since I was a kid. Honestly, the earliest I remember was watching probably WrestleMania 3 or somewhere around that time frame, and I'd only been like 5 years old, 6 years old. My old man was big into wrestling, and we were, Hulk Hogan was the guy back then, right? That's the first wrestler I remember ever seeing ripping shirts and stuff like that. So, ever since then, I was completely hooked. Roddy Piper is still one of my all-time favorite iconic villains as well too. So, pretty dope regardless. Whoever got me into wrestling. I mean, the action figures, the plush buddies, the action figures back then were pretty dope. They didn't bend or articulate, but they were just, if you remember those, I don't know if you guys ever had those, but those big rubber figures. King, did you have a couple of those? You probably definitely did. Maybe not. But yeah, either way, Drassen says, I'm offended Macho Man and Papa Shango is not on your list. You don't even know my list, so why don't you chill out for a second? You don't even know my list, man. You don't even know. But again, these quickies are a good spot for us to sit here and chat about this stuff and get into that. But what I want to know from some of you out there, and I'm gonna post it up right now. That is the actual meme that King sent me that says, now pick your stable. So if you guys want, you can talk about your stable, who your picks are, and I'm going to tell you why mine's probably better than yours, but I definitely have. It took me a minute. King can tell you, when he sent this for me at first, I'm like, man, that's really tough. Right away, to me, row 1, that's really tough to choose. That's super tough to choose. 4 was also very, very hard for me as well, too. I feel like those overall are the 2 toughest for at least me, and it seems to be for a few people. 1 definitely. You think row 4 is hard? Man, row 1 only is to me because of The Rock and Stone Cold. You know what I mean? Row 3 is kind of, it's kind of meh. I mean, it depends on how you look at it. Some people don't think it's meh, right? To me, it's kind of meh. There's really only 1 on there. There were 2 that I really were really big fans of, and 1 that I still kind of like today. But row 1, you got the immortal Hulk Hogan. Not Hollywood, but Hollywood Hulk Hogan's pretty dope too. Ric Flair is one of my all-time favorites. I mean, that entire first row. Stone Cold Steve Austin. The Rock. Row 2, Macho Man. Ultimate Warrior, Razor Ramon, the Icon Sting. Row 3, you've got Goldberg. Who's next? Then you got the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels, HBK. The Game, Triple H, Hunter Hearst Helmsley. And then John Cena. King Cuddle's big fan of John Cena. Bret the Hitman Hart in row 4. Then Eddie Guerrero, one of the all-time greats. R.I.P. And also Roddy Piper, R.I.P., one of the greatest villains of all time. Got to meet Roddy Piper. It's true. Oh, it's true. It's damn true. Personal all-time favorite right there. The Lionheart Chris Jericho. And then rounding out row 5, Andre the Giant. The Big Show Paul White. Undertaker. And Kevin Nash, a.k.a. Big Daddy Cool, a.k.a. Diesel. That is a tough row, actually, kind of, too. I feel like even 5... See, the more I look at even the last row, I'm like, man, I can see how that could be tough. For me, it wasn't so tough, but I can see how that would be tough for people as well, too. A.k.a. Super Shredder. Perfect. Thank you, Cap. That's also very correct. A.k.a. Super Shredder. If you didn't know, Kevin Nash was Super Shredder in the second Turtles movie, Secret of the Ooze. So there you go. Everybody pretty much knows that now, I'm sure. So, but all right, let's hear some of your picks. King, who is your picks? He can't. He's one-handed right now. He's got one hand of food, and then he's got his vagina hand in the other. So he's probably going to type with his tongue or something like that. So hopefully his keyboard is clean or something. Maybe he's on a phone. Have one of the kids type for you if you got to, man. I know you don't have any hands right now, or maybe have them feed you. That'd be all right too. Here's an even better question. I don't know if anybody could do this. So, dude's got Flair, Warrior, Goldberg, Roddy Piper, and Andre the Giant. All right, that's a solid list. What of those 5? What are your favorite, dude? Oh, I'll at you in about 2 seconds. You would be a Goldberg fan. I think I could see that. Yeah, definitely see that. I definitely see you being a Goldberg fan. I mean, you spelled him right, so that's half the battle. Flair, I love Ric Flair. I can never get enough Ric Flair, personally. He's one of my all-time favorite promo cutters, personally. Huge fan of that. Roddy Piper is awesome. He was an amazing dude to meet, too, in real life. And 3 months later, he, unfortunately left this world. But, yeah, he's one of the all-time greatest villains. Nothing better than a dude getting all angried up and hype like that. He had one of my all-time favorite matches in a WrestleMania too, though it gets a lot of clowning. But that back alley fight with Goldust is one of my all-time favorites, hands down. What up, Real Nap God? What's happening? So you got? Oh, you're not even gonna use the list? What about the list? I don't see Rick or Scott Steiner on there. Freakzilla, Freaks and Peaks. Scott Steiner should be on that list. But he's kind of one of those, never really, big stars. Not like these guys. These guys carried the flagship for the most part, I think, overall. And that's a lot of it. Yeah, he should be. Well, I was kind of surprised even to see the Big Show on there, truth be told. I don't know. Big Show, is pretty iconic to some degree, but, I mean, I kind of even think Goldberg could be questionable as well, too. But most everybody else, I think, deserves to be on that list. I mean, I don't even know whoever narrowed these down, what they were thinking. That's a pretty tough to even narrow down where they're at, right? Big Papa Pump. Yeah, that's right. Big Papa Pump. Can I just pick The Undertaker and 4 more dead guys? Oh, my God, Cap. You're a monster. So if you had to choose one on here as your favorite, Undertaker's definitely it. Is it because he came out to Johnny Cash one time? Is that why you choose him as your number 1 overall? Be honest. All right. Well, I'm going to tell you my favorites and why they're better than yours. So, this was a tough one. So row 1 was the one that probably hung me up the most, I'll be honest. What? I don't know how you don't take The Undertaker. Best gimmick ever. Honestly, it's one of the few that still run today that's still relevant and still just fine. It's super. Back then it was more of like a true gimmick. Now it's more just kind of like, you know, a mantle to wear. I think more than a gimmick, but that's what makes it so good. It's so iconic, and it's never lost its luster at all. And it's because for the longest point, the last decade and a half or so, he really hasn't been around much, so it doesn't stale. Like he just makes an appearance right around Rumble, comes in and hangs out for a couple months, and goes back to chilling somewhere. So I just kind of works that route, I think. I think you were more of a big fan of his biker gimmick, though, right? I can't even think of what they called that. Well, he had to move the last ride. That's the only thing I remember. But came out in the motorcycle. It's like the human form of the Gravedigger monster truck. Yeah. I think he drives that actually to the shows. So my first pick, row one, is American Badass Undertaker. Actually ended up being The Rock. And that was tough because, again, you're seeing Hulk Hogan, which Hulk Hogan lived more like the original Hulk Hogan, that immortal. It's iconic, and it lived in that space and lived better in that era, I think. Now, today, as a legend, it still, like, has that kind of pop and that excitement. Yeah, it is missing Mick Foley. I do agree with that, King. But a lot of people don't consider him a full-on wrestler because of the hardcore shit. But no, you're darn right. Mick Foley should be on that list somewhere. Definitely, Mick Foley should be on that list. Instead of like the Big Show. That's my 2 cents in that. I didn't choose Flair because, again, which was really tough because right next to him, Stone Cold. Like, how do you choose between those four? Because Stone Cold, like, man, oh man, when you think about the Attitude Era and the things that he did during the Monday Night Wars to keep WWF relevant at the time, he put in a lot of work. He was that guy, you know what I mean? Fighting the boss and stuff like that. Wait, are you looking at the list just as your favorites, or you would work together and stay with the best, or do you have five, or you have 5 stars for your show? What 5 do you take? I don't know. I just think overall, choose your best stable. Like, I looked at it as like not only people that I liked, but all around that would be like good workers or something like that. I don't know. I didn't really separate that. I mean, I guess maybe kind of more of my favorites to some degree as well too, because I think if you're picking, you're gonna kind of pick as your favorite as well too, personally. And that's why at the end of the day I went with The Rock, because as much as I love Stone Cold and Flair and Hulk, The Rock is everything about The Rock, especially from a promo sense. Even when he was clowning with the Nation, when he was doing his things, even when he comes back, The Rock just has so much charisma. And not that Stone Cold doesn't. Stone Cold, I think, has a different type of charisma, but Stone Cold has a Rock has a larger than life charisma. Just huge. If you think of it as a legit stable, some of these guys wouldn't work well together. But in the business, they'd have to. I mean, that's a great like if you wanted to microscope it, sure, you could look at it like that too. But I'm looking at it as picking my stable. Like, who would I choose if I had to go? Oh, dodgeball. These are my favorites. These are the ones I want to pick. On my team. Row 2, Macho Man. That's a lot of people's favorite. I know, and I understand that. I was a late bloomer into being a Macho Man fan, but in this row, I actually chose Sting. I'm a huge, longtime fan of Sting. I loved him early WCW when he had the crew cut, the blonde hair, and he was, fighting Flair and stuff like that. Yeah, it is. It's still real to me, damn it. Which was tough, again, because, like, Razor Ramon's one of my favorites as well, too, but Sting has always been... Yeah, Sting all day long. Sting has always been one of my personal favorites. Even when he was in Impact. He had a small role through an Impact, and he was doing some pretty great things as well, too. I just always loved Sting. And again, my Sting, like, I love Sting, NWO Sting, and all the stuff they did at the Crow Sting and everything. I was actually more a fan of earlier Stinger, like, the Bleach Blonde, again, that late 80s, early 90s Sting. That was probably my favorite Sting. Ultimate Warrior was great just because of the intenseness and the cocaine or whatever you want to say, but that was he was never somebody like I was like, oh, it's Warrior. I liked watching him because he was insane to watch, because this guy would get running down to the ring like he had just done 2 lines of coke and jump into the ring and fight for 20 minutes. So Row 3, I actually chose. It's gonna be controversial because not a lot of people I don't think are fans. Hit or miss. But it came down to two in this row for me. It was either HBK or Triple H. I was a big DX fan, but I am a longtime fan of the game Triple H. I love Triple H. I love HBK for a lot of reasons as well too. The showstopper, the Heartbreak Kid, but man, Triple H, everything about him. Early stuff when he broke out of DX, the Sledgehammer, all the stuff with Triple H, I love. He had some great matches with The Rock. I'm a big fan of Evolution, if you're familiar with that stable. That was Ric Flair, Triple H, Dave Batista, and Randy Orton. Because Randy Orton's not in this list, by the way, either, and I think that's also questionable. Because I love Randy Orton. Randy Orton's also one of my all-time favorites for sure. So, but I went with Triple H in this one. He will always be somebody that, like when I do like a wrestling video game create a character, I always have the pedigree as my finishing move, as one of my power moves. I love that move. The pedigree is one of my all-time favorites. Row 4, the ultimate row 4. So row 4 probably is the hardest of all these, no doubt. I think that the first one is tough because you can narrow it kind of down to maybe 2 for a lot of people. 4 across the board for far as everything that you look at in wrestling, whether it's in-ring work, out-ring, promos, even relevance, and that's a tough one. That was a tough one for me. I was pretty sure I knew, but it was still a tough one. 4 is bullshit hard, absolutely. King went with Eddie Guerrero, which is, how could you not, man? I mean, R.I.P. of course again, but the man was, especially when he got into WWE. I watched him early on like ECW and WCW. During like the cruiserweight stuff with like Chris and Dean Malenko and Perry Saturn and these guys, who all they came into WWE eventually anyways, but that cruiserweight division in that middle hour of WCW for me is what carried WCW sometimes more than even what was going on at the top. That cruiserweight division with Rey Mysterio and Juventud and Psychosis and La Parka, that was the shit to watch back then. That was my favorite to watch. So this was really, really tough for me. Again, Roddy Piper, somebody I met, somebody who to me will always be one of the most iconic bad guys ever in wrestling. You know what I mean? And then you've got the Lionheart Chris Jericho. And at the end of the day, Benoit. We're not supposed to say his name out loud, I don't think, though. Oh, God, Cap. I'm not even saying that out loud. But at the end of the day, I did choose Chris Jericho. And I was never really a super huge Bret Hart guy. I had respect for him and liked him, but even now in late days, he's kind of whiny, like we get it, the Montreal Screwjob, but like there's a lot of things to him that I don't think he's let go, and understandably to some degree, but he's almost kind of like too much sometimes for me, so at the end of the day, Chris Jericho just is everything, and that's because even now, right now in AEW, he is still making himself relevant. He invents himself every time he comes back into WWE. A new gimmick, a new this, a new that, a new move, or whatever. He manages to keep himself relevant. He manages to be the guy that puts over other people. And I honestly, I can't get enough of him. Sometimes he gets on the headset on AEW and calls matches, and it's like the best thing ever. This guy, when he retires, is going to end up on a microphone, and there's rumors already of him kind of dial it back in the wrestling in AEW and maybe ending up on headset and mic and call matches. It's brilliant. The dude is brilliant. He is the Le Champion. He is the demo god. I can't get enough of him, honestly, and never will. Like, anytime he reinvents himself and comes around, it's awesome. Love Chris Jericho. So that was finally row 4. That was definitely the hardest. That was the bullshit one. And then the 5th one really wasn't that hard for me. I can see how it could be for some folks. Everybody loves Andre the Giant, don't get me wrong, but it was never anything that I was like, oh, Andre. I actually really like Big Show, Paul White. When he came to WWE, I was huge fan already because of WCW as the Giant. I'm very excited about that. I was always a big fan of him. And then you gotta love Undertaker. Like Undertaker, like we talked about SummerSlam not long ago. Like, Undertaker versus Undertaker, like some of that shit. Undertaker versus HBK, like Undertaker versus Triple H. Like he's put on some amazing matches, and it's had some of the most iconic things that I remember in wrestling for as long as I can remember. But at the end of the day, I had to choose, and I chose Kevin Nash. I will always choose Kevin Nash in a role like this because I love Big Daddy Cool, Big Sexy, Diesel, Turbo Diesel. Was he Captain Insano in the Waterboy? Yes. Paul White was, yes. He sure was. Yes, he sure was. He's been in other little few things as well, too. He's got a Netflix show that Cappadocian's a big fan of. But yeah, Kevin Nash. So that's me. Rock, Sting, Triple H, Jericho, Kevin Nash, final answer. That's it. There it is. So my stable's better than all y'all's. Got a lot of great power moves, a lot of great promo cutting, and pretty much everybody would have a belt. So that's it. So we only disagree on row 4. Is that really only it? You chose Eddie Guerrero. Is that pretty much, did you have the same? King likes me. That's it. He likes me. He's a big fan. But what do you guys think? What do you think? You want to love mine more than yours? That's fine. I understand that. That's great. I love when some of these guys come back and do some of the legend stuff. It's pretty great. Big fan of that as well too. We've lost some of these guys on this list as well too. R.I.P. Which is unfortunate. We lost Macho, Ultimate, Eddie, Roddy, and Andre. But yeah, I think you guys mentioned it. I think Mick Foley should be on this list. Randy Orton. This could be expanded upon, and maybe someday we will, honestly. For sure. Yours is pretty... You couldn't even spell the one guy's name right. Don't even lie. The Ghost Squad is lit. The Ghost Squad. Oh, you're terrible. Their manager is Chris Benoit, huh? Yeah. Alright. I took up a lot of time eating up on that one. That's fine. That's a good one. But I did want to show you a funny meme that King did send me as well too for us fans of good old Stone Cold. This guy right here, Mark Eaton, deserves a lot of respect, right? He is the guy right there throwing those beers to Stone Cold all those years. So let's pay tribute to this man for all his contributions to history. Think about that. What if Stone Cold didn't have any beers? He was just a timekeeper. He was tossing beers up there, throwing Steve Weisers up to Stone Cold. Anybody ever, I'll be honest with you, like, we tried to do that a few times. It's not fun. Getting messy with beer like that is not a good time, but when you're drunk, it doesn't matter anyways. You just hit my kid's face, and, oh, there you go. That's how you do it. There you go, King. But I wanted to give a little props to this man here, for sure, for all that he's done for history. But I do want to real quick, before I forget, I almost forgot actually, and I'm glad I actually looked at my notes there. Since Rohit Raju, Rock Mercury, can't be here currently, I do want to say Rohit Raju picked Macho Man, Cena, Eddie Guerrero, Undertaker, and could never figure out his decision on row 1. That was Rohit Raju's pick. Picks, I should say. That was it. Alright. Why is that doing that? Get off there. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, that's sweet. My, There we go. Tell you what, my Stream Deck has been completely acting up all day. It's doing what it does to you, dude. Yeah, I know, right? Alright, so moving on. So, kind of want to swing into a little bit of this right now. So, I don't know. You guys hear us talk about Rohit a lot. I talk about him pretty constantly. A lot of stuff going on right now. He actually had a promo with TJP and Fala after Slammiversary and when Chris Bay won the X Division champ. It's a pretty funny promo. I talked about it a couple weeks ago. And then I promoted it and was talking about the match they had coming up, which would have been last week with TJP and Falaba, Chris Bay, and Rohit Raju. And I actually have that tag here. And we're going to talk about that. We're going to watch that little clip of that in a moment. And then we're going to talk about what's going on with him right now, which is pretty sweet as well, too. Let me find the button. There we go.
TJP, former X Division champion.
Let me know if you can hear it okay.
Yeah, sure. I would I'd fancy the idea of the X Division.
This is a pretty dope match. The promo leading up to this, with Rohit running around the locker room yelling, "Chris, Chris!" was pretty funny. It was a great promo. And then, you know, he told basically Chris, "Hey, I got your back." TJP basically said, "I want to go for the division, X Division title. You're gonna need me in this setup." So they set these guys up for a tag match.
TJP, he's got Chris Bay and my words twisted. And TJP,
it was a really good match. It was a very good match, actually. TJP, these guys are some talented guys out here. TJP is very, very talented as well, too.
Rohit runs into Fala, tag made, and great tag team wrestling on display.
Him and Fala are a really good tag team. They really work good together. I mean, I think they've been friends for as long as, if not before, since they started wrestling. They came in as a tag.
From Fala on Rohit.
Pretty dope. Oh, shit.
Trying to bring him back to
He's doing work, keeping him out there.
Has control, and now TJP with an
man, right in his gonads. Right on his little Rohit's.
Of TJP, not allowing him to make the tag of Falaba. And Rohit off the ropes and a running knee. Say what you want about Rohit as he goes for the cover.
Shit, he's covering.
Can TJP capitalize his guy?
Yeah, Cap. Yeah, it's very frustrating. That's part of our problem. I've eased up on Impact a little bit. Oh, that's such a badass move. DDT was dope. Because they've had him job way too much, but hopefully he's been getting some, you know, good time, good mic time, and having some good matches. So can't reign all the time. Missed the sweep, even Falaba got out of that.
Just sends Rohit into the buckle. How strong is Falaba? How powerful is Falaba?
Oh shit! Oh my God, that's brutal. Right in the turnbuckle.
Off the ropes, and
oh, got that high knee.
That floors Falaba.
Chris is still on the outside.
Need to make tags, but I don't think their partners are in position.
See Rohit put in work. Oh shit!
Suplex. He usually looks for 3 of these in a row.
Oh shit!
This time spins into a back suplex.
The action in this match is just insane.
That's TJP
it's like
right there.
A hybrid
So.
of tag team and X Division wrestling all in one. This is amazing.
I love it. Rohit up on the apron to try to stop TJP.
Oh, get out of your face!
Policy for Chris Bay in this match. Rohit was fought off. TJP misses.
Enough time was wasted.
Chris Bay connects. Rohit connects.
Oh shit!
Chris Bay goes for the cover. Shoulders down.
Rohit just told him cover. Oh come on!
This match would have been over.
He set up perfectly for him.
What a shoulder tackle by Rohit.
He shouldered him right out of the ring. Look at that.
Those legs and those shoulders.
Brutal.
To get Falaba out of the ring like that. What a tag
He
team
had to
match
eat
we're
at least
seeing
like
here.
4 chicken breasts and a whole pack of almonds to have the brick capacity to top him out of the ring like
in
that.
Big trouble right now. This may be the end of the match.
Chris Bay
It was. What up, Atomic?
Oh
shit! Oh no!
Cross-arm breaker and Chris Bay tapped out. Chris Bay taps out to the cross-arm breaker.
Backs into Rohit. Rohit goes flying, and then Chris gets
TJP.
right. So that was actually the end of the tag match, clearly. So that was that for that. So kind of a bummer, right? What up, Trick? What up, Trick? That we had to, you know, see that, you know. It is crazy with no fans, and as somebody who's been watching a lot of wrestling with no fans, it's definitely takes an adjusting to, for sure. But it's unfortunate because, you know, these guys like Chris and, you know, Rohit, we're seeing like, and they had awesome chemistry there as well too. But, you know, I mean, what are you gonna do, right? You know, but that set us up a little bit, to be very honest with you. So I'm gonna do right now, real quick, is so now we had that, and then this week. There was no match. Neither 3 of them had a match, but we got a little background going on between. Let's see if I can find my. I'm gonna adjust with this for a minute. Bear with me. All right, so this is what happened this week on Impact.
Champ, how you feeling, huh?
Look, man, I just came to tell you, you know management saw that, right? You know they saw TJP beat you in the center of the rings. Hey, I'm just letting you know, emergence is right around the corner. You know they got something cooking. I don't know, man. TJ got you pretty good.
Don't say that.
Yeah.
Don't say
Yeah.
Should I be shook? Should I be scared? Why?
Look, I know you can handle TJ all by yourself, but he's going to have Falaba in his corner. He's going to have him in his corner. What are you going to do about that, huh?
So what? You want to be in my corner or something? What, follow me?
I have one better. You give TJP the
Being a nice
title
guy.
shot, and you give me a title shot. Make it a triple threat. That means it's 2-on-1. Paolo's on the outside looking like a big dummy, while you and I,
Like a
we're
big dummy.
stomping TJ out, and then boom, you still remain X Division champion, right?
Now, why should I even trust you?
Look, I'm just.
I'm just. I already beat you at Rebellion, so that's not even an issue. I actually like it. I think we'll be. Matter of fact, let's do it. Let's do it.
All right. So, there we are. That set us up for this coming Tuesday, 8 p.m. right here on Twitch, twitch.tv/Impact Wrestling. Triple threat match for the X Division title. Let me set my keyboard down before I break something. TJP, Chris Bay, with backup, Rohit Raju. So, yeah, super excited about that, right? Super excited. So make sure, if you guys don't got anything going on Tuesday night, or if you do, cancel those plans, because I'm telling you to. Cancel the damn plans. Be live on Twitch along with Impact Wrestling, so we can at least, I want to blow up this chat, the Impact chat, with support for Rohit Raju. It's 2 hours of your time. Who knows when the match is going to be on? I don't know, of course. But this is going to be sweet. Emergence has got, there's actually a lot of good matches on that night, too. There's 4 big title matches. 4 title matches on the line that night. But this is the one we clearly care about the most, because we want to see, you know, Rohit Raju up in this championship match. Pretty awesome. Big deal to see our boy here in an X Division match. Now, Chris Bay just got the belt a few weeks ago during Slammiversary, which was an awesome pay-per-view. So, if you've got time, like I said, I'd really, really appreciate you on behalf of me, Rohit Raju, dude, you know, Banter and Babble as a whole, to be there, 8 o'clock, right here on Twitch. You know, watch this sweet match. You know, like I said, I want to blow up that chat and show support for our boy. So, you know, he's Impact's been getting him out there a little bit more, and he's been getting a little bit more chances. So we want to be there to support if possible. It'd be dope. So 8 Eastern. Yup. King says, I will tell you, like I tell my wife, I can give 2 minutes, but not 2 hours. That's funny, because she actually said that I was allowed to talk about that on stream, but you brought it up first. So awesome. Good job. Good for you. Yeah, so if you guys can, please, I'm going to keep talking about it. You're going to see me on Facebook. You're going to see us on all the Banter and Babble social medias and the Discord. Talk about this nonstop to keep reminding everybody. Please, if you've got time, yes, 8, so it'll be 5 o'clock for you then, Spence. Next Tuesday, twitch.tv/Impact Wrestling. TJP, Chris Bay, also fantastic wrestlers. These 3 are very, very, very good, and I'm really excited to watch this match. So, pretty hype regardless, because, you know, who knows what the fallout's going to be of this, but I think these 3 are going to tear the roof down, no doubt. So, really awesome. X Division Championship. There's Discord if you guys like. Get in that Discord, hang out with us. We'd love to have you. We'll talk about that here in just a second, actually. So, last couple things to wind it down here. First of all, appreciate everybody coming in for this as well, too, talking about wrestling with us. And, you know, these are pretty fun to do, these pick your choose and do a favorite. So, you know, we do have another one as well, too, because don't forget, next week we got a show coming. We got an actual Banter and Babble proper. Pop onto our Twitter right now. There is a poll going on to choose your buddy cop. If you were to get zapped back in the 80s or in an 80s action flick, wherever your thought process wants to take you, who is your cop buddy that you're going to choose? Is it going to be Axel Foley? Is it going to be RoboCop? Is it going to be Riggs and Murtaugh? They're a combo. Or is it going to be the one and only John McClane? Who are you choosing? Well, we need to know. Get in that poll. We'd love to have your vote. So just like last episode, we talked about the captains. Brain stop for a second. we're going to talk about these 4 choices. Yeah, Riggs, I'm too old for this shit. Riggs. And then me and Dude will tell everybody who we picked and why I'm right and everybody else is wrong again, as normal. I already know Dude's pick. It's pretty easy. You can see it from a mile away. This actually was a tough one for me as well too. I'm still undecided, maybe, or am I? I think John McClane's gonna be a big favorite one. Last I checked, Dude, it was pretty neck and neck with like Axel Foley and John, wasn't it? Yeah, no worry, King. No worry. Appreciate you, buddy. Thanks for coming through, man. If I remember correctly, last time I checked out the poll, it was between Axel and John. Reginald Vell Johnson should be up there. Right. Yeah, I get you. But yeah, that'll be next week for B&B proper. John has a slight lead right over Axel. Damn, that is not what I expected, I'll be very honest. I did not expect them two to go neck and neck like that. That's dope, though. Again, next week, 9 p.m. Eastern Time here on the Banter and Babble channel. We will be live with another Banter and Babble episode. That'll be one of the topics. We're finishing up the rest of the topics as well. Would love to have you there. If you've got time, come see us, chat with us. Be part of that discussion, as always, as all these are, as well, too. And then one last thing. Last night we had a Discord community gaming night. We played Fall Guys with our Discord community on PS4. And want to say thank you to you guys that were able to show up and play. The chat was hanging out. We had Tricky, Atomic, and Drassen that were able to play with us. We know not everybody's got PS4s. We will do some Xbox stuff in the future as well, too. We'll also expand. It might not always be a opposite Wednesday, but we'll look at certain days and certain evenings as well too, partly because of my schedule as well. But I just want to thank everybody for being involved in that. They're really fun to do, and we'd love to continue to do them. So if there are games that people want us to play together, we've already talked about, again, Trick wants to play some Predator. I said Paladins and Halo are great ones to play on Xbox because they're free to play. Well, if you don't have Halo, I suppose. But Paladins is a good one because it's free to play. It's a shooting game. Things like that as well too. And Project Darwin's always been fun in the past as well too. We'll if you guys got ideas and stuff you want to play, Paladins is cross-platform, so that makes it easier too. Just let us know. Hop in the Discord. If you want to pop that Discord link again in there for us, Dude. If you're not in our Discord, we'd love to have you. I know a lot of you are. We're a small community and keep growing, but it's a way for us to just hang out with you guys who constantly have been supporting of us. And there's a lot of you that, are out there that do support us, that share us all over. That's the big thing that we ask. Share our content, get in our YouTube, check out the YouTube, check out our link tree right here on the actual channel as well too. While we updated our panels and stuff like that, I got some more stuff coming, but you guys have been very good to us, and we can never thank you enough, and that's why I make sure to thank everybody as much as I can for that constant support, and we really appreciate that. Again, if you have ideas for the B&B Quickies, B&B Plays, let us know. Holler at us. DM me, get in the Discord, tell us. I've got a list of stuff that I've got planned for the actual B&B Quickies, so, I'm just kind of banging them out as I go, and a lot of it's because, you all have told us what you wanted me to talk about, or even Dude for that matter. So, Dude's probably going to be figuring out what he's doing for next week's B&B Quickie for himself. I'm definitely going to be debating, starting right after the show, what I will be doing and start thinking about that for next week's B&B Quickie. But, again, more importantly, next Wednesday, proper B&B episode, live 9 p.m. here on Twitch. So, this weekend, I might be getting into some more Ghosts and streaming to my personal brand stuff. I'll keep you all posted. And then Avengers beta in another week or two as well. You'll be seeing us probably messing with that on B&B Plays some more as well too when that drops, because we're all kind of excited for that too. So, Drassen Plays on PC for that Paladin. So, again, Spence, that's Paladins' Cross. So, Avengers was a good time. We've had a pretty good time playing that. We might even talk about that next week a little bit. Really surprised me for sure. So, that's gonna do it for me, guys. Again, thank you everybody for coming, hanging out. Appreciate you all for doing the B&B Quickie. I'll be around in the Discords as well tonight and social medias and stuff if you just want to even chat. So holler at me. Look for me maybe live this weekend, twitch.tv/fanboytone or /thedude79. He might be doing some gaming as well too. So Thanks, guys. I will see you soon. And take care.